A few days ago, I got an email from Gameforge asking me to become an official Swords of Legends online content creator. I don't know much about the game, so let's research it together and see what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Hayes. I've been covering gaming content in the MMO landscape for several years now, and every now and again I'll get an email from a smaller indie company asking me to play their small MMO and give it a review, or a bigger established dominant company asking me to make exclusive content for their MMORPG. And it never quite goes as well as the companies expect it will. Like the time Game Ago asked me to create content for Fiesta Online, so I made a 45-minute video about how Fiesta Online was one of the worst MMOs ever made. Or the time Gameforge asked me to make a video about the new Runes of Magic servers, so I made a video about the new Runes of Magic servers and how they were a shallow whale-baiting cash grab. Or when Game Ago then asked me to create content exclusively for Arcade Unchained, so I made a video showing how Game Ago buy and then kill MMORPGs. So you really think companies would have stopped asking me to create content for their games by now, because I tend to be quite harsh to them. But a few days ago I got the same email that probably every YouTube MMORPG content creator got, asking me to join the Forge Master program and create exclusive content for the Western release of Swords of Legends Online. So I guess it's time to create a video about Swords of Legends Online. Before we begin, consider dropping a like on the video or subscribing to the channel for more MMO stuff. Ring the bell so you don't miss a single future video. As usual, a massive thank you to all my supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep my channel independent and allow me to do what I do. More on how you can support at the end. Right, let's begin. Our journey starts with this email from Gameforge asking me to join their Forge Master program, which is basically a small collection of content creators focused mainly on Gameforge games, and how if I join, I could be one of the first to create content for the Western release of Swords of Legends Online. In the email there's a link to a trailer, so let's have a watch. Now, if this trailer is rendered in-engine, as in using in-game graphics, and these are the graphics you can expect from the game, it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's going with the classically over-stylized Chinese high fantasy style. It's artistic martial arts. It's giving me very strong Dynasty Warriors or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon vibes. But as we all know, trailers always look great because they are rendered to look great. We need to find some actual in-game footage to see what this game's going to look like when you play it. Swords of Legends Online, which I'm going to abbreviate to SOLO, is the Western release of an already existing MMO called jian. Sorry to any native Chinese speakers if I just butchered that pronunciation. So I googled the Chinese name and we can find some gameplay footage, so let's give it a watch. This footage was streamed by YouTube user Yu Yang on the 22nd of January 2021, so as of this video's release, it's roughly 4 months old. So let's analyze what we can from this relatively up-to-date footage. Standard third-person camera angle. Player profile icon and currently applied passive buffs shown to the top left. This is clearly a raid as we have a box showing 16 people divided into 3 groups of 5 and a single group of 1, and the chat box is to the bottom left. Health and mana bars, both bottom center, and the ability hotkeys below them. The sword icon with 5 gems around it in the middle center seems to be a special attack power meter. The gems fill up as the player attacks and then get spent on a bigger, more damaging attack. Menu icons to the bottom right and a minimap with quick access buttons underneath it to the top right. This stream was 75 minutes long, but at a 14 minute and 42 seconds we get a good look at the inventory system. It's exactly what you'd expect, a square grid with each item taking up 1 square regardless of the size of the item. The gameplay shown is generic to the point of being forgettable. A mass of players wail on some mini-bosses while dealing with some basic mechanics. Sometimes dangerous traps fall from above, sometimes the enemies push this player back toward holes in the floor. The enemies have red AoE attacks you need to move away from, and we see aggro being drawn, hit numbers appearing over the heads of enemies, and the numbers being bigger the more damage is done. MMO YouTuber The Lazy Peon also played the original Chinese version back in 2018 and covered it quite nicely. His video shows some lovely graphics, some great customization, and some extremely generic action combat with flashy abilities. The press release for the Western version says they have improved the graphics and streamlined the gameplay, so we should be expecting something slightly better than this, and this already looks quite decent. The YouTuber Stepperoo also has a playlist on their channel showing original Chinese gameplay from the various classes and environmental exploration. It's beautiful. The game does indeed look stunning, and the combat looks fluid. If you're a fan of action combat, you'll probably find a lot to love here. Over on the IGN YouTube page, we then get this trailer for the new release, featuring what looks like some in-game footage just without the UI. It's much smoother than the streamed footage, and the graphics seem to be improved. But again, I'm not seeing anything in this trailer that's making me think, wow, that's what the MMO genre needed. That's what's going to revolutionize the landscape. It doesn't look bad, it just looks like every other Eastern MMO I've ever played. Then I discovered this official trailer for the Swords of Legend online release called A Time of Legends, which confidently states in bold text at the end that Swords of Legends Online is an MMO unlike any other. So you're a third-person, quasi-action combat, soft, tab target, Eastern-inspired MMO with generic UI elements, minimap in the top right, chat box in the bottom left, nice graphics, and a raid finder? Yeah, can't think of any other game like that at all. No other MMO hits all those criteria. You are truly a trailblazer in the genre. So now, this Eastern game is getting an official Western release. Great! It's always nice to have more MMOs, but there are two main issues. The first doesn't bother me too much, but the second kinda does. The first is how Swords of Legends Online won't be free to play. It's a buy-to-play game. The standard version will set you back £36 or around $50. Then you've got a deluxe edition and a top-range collector's edition for $75 and $100 respectively. So this is a full-priced game. It's available for pre-purchase right now through the official site or through Steam. Now, the original Chinese version of the game is subscription-based. You buy in-game time. And because of this, it's not designed to be pay-to-win. The income for the game in China is generated through players buying in-game time, not in-game power. But the Western release will be buy-to-play, and I can't find any information about needing a subscription or not, which sometimes makes me worry, because when an MMO doesn't have a subscription model, it always ends up having a cash shop, which often sells useful in-game things, such as level boosts, extra bank slots, or more character slots, because it needs to generate revenue somehow. But remember, that's just me speculating. Absolutely nothing has said or even hinted that this game will be pay to win. We have no proof that this MMO will be anything less than completely fair. Buy once, play forever. Terrific game, kind of like the way that Guild Wars or Guild Wars 2 does it. A one-time investment into a game that you can then play forever, and no more financial investment will boost you up. That's all you need to do. Well, there is one small aspect of this Western release that makes me think it might somewhat, possibly, maybe end up a little bit pay to win. The Western release of Swords of Legends Online is being published by Gameforge. A quick reminder for those unaware, Gameforge are the publishers behind Metin 2, Nostale, Terra, Runes of Magic, Aeon, Elsword, and 4Story. Now, I personally know for a fact that Runes of Magic is one of the most pay-to-win games of all time, and many players have assured me that Aeon is considered pay for convenience, unless you're PvP focused, in which case, open your wallet, it's pay-to-win as well. So, a subscription-based high-fantasy Chinese MMO considered by many to be one of the best in the East is being ported over to the West and switched from a subscription model to a buy-to-play game and is being published by Gameforge, a publisher widely recognized as pushing pay-to-win monetization models. We can hope it won't devolve into that, but I'm trying to keep a grounded, realistic view of this game given their current track record. As nice as the invite to the Forge Master program was, and as flattering as it is to be asked to create content for a game, I cannot confidently endorse a game before it releases and before we see how it plays and how they're planning to monetize it. I look forward to playing it personally, and I hope it ends up being fantastic. But remember, don't board the hype train. It never ever stops where you think it will. Approach the release of Swords of Legends Online with realistic expectations and a healthy optimism, and hopefully we'll all be pleasantly surprised. As for Gameforge, this is your chance. This is your moment. Players are looking at Swords of Legends Online and saying, this is it, this is the one, this is the next big MMO, it'll be fairly priced and fair to play. But then they're seeing that you're involved, and they're thinking of your track record, and they're getting that sinking feeling in their stomach because they know what your reputation is. Prove us wrong, Gameforge. Become a publisher for the players, not just the payers. The MMO player base is all looking at you right now. Please do right by this game. Good luck. We're all counting on you. Cheers for watching. Let me know what you're expecting from this release in the comments below. And again, a massive thank you to my supporters on Patreon and Twitch who make the channel possible. You can support the Patreon from just £1 a month. Check the video description for links to the Patreon, Twitch, Twitter and Discord. And as always, have a great day.